everybody? It's Brandon Lee. Welcome back to Celebrate the Wins, where we love to talk about sales. We love to talk about sales wins. And I have my new friend. We go back like a month now, right, Steve?
All that way.
All that way.
Long
time. But you have a mutual friend that we both know well, so that connected us sooner. But this is Steve Nudleberg with On the Ball Marketing, but you can find more information about him at Nudleberg.com. Steve, welcome to Celebrate the Wins. How you doing this afternoon?
Thank you so much. I'm excited. I love the concept of celebrating wins. Salespeople should always celebrate the victories. You know, we chose the profession where we deal with a lot of rejection, so got to embrace the win. So congratulations. I love the concept.
So as everybody knows, we go through 5 questions in 15 minutes. So we're going to crank through these, but we are celebrating wins. So question number 1 is, do you think sales today are harder or easier than 17 years ago, the year 2000, and why?
By far, it's much, much, much easier. The tools that are available to us as salespeople and the transparency on the decision maker side is so open that I actually share a slide in some of my speeches where, can you imagine salespeople that did not have internet, did not have CRM, did not have cell phones, I talk about Waze. I can't leave my house without looking at Waze. What a great gift to salespeople. So between the content and the transparency and the accessibility, I clearly think that the game has shifted in our favor.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about your book.
So it's really cool. I'm a career sales guy. I've been fortunate. I've been successful in most of the things that I've ventured into. A couple of years ago, someone asked me to speak to their sales team. I did. They reacted really, really well. I started to put together content, thoughts of how I did what I did, and I came up with this concept that most successful teams and most successful athletes have a process. So I put my process in a book called Confessions of a Serial Salesman. It's the first of what will be 3 books. And this book is 27 rules for influencers and leaders. And the feedback that I've gotten from it so far has been absolutely off the charts. No matter what walk of life you have, if you want to get better, these rules will help you do that.
And one of the things that, we like to give to our community, of course, one of the things I want to highlight is that you've been in sales, you've had successes, you spoke in an event, and through that, you were encouraged to take your processes and put them into a book, and now look at you. Right?
Look at me.
Did you imagine 3-4 years ago that you'd have a book and all the doors that it's opening for you?
I'm generally one of these ADD guys, so reading a book would be a challenge, let alone writing a book. I think my high school teachers are just going to be flipping out that this is out there. But it really was much less difficult than I thought it would be because I'm a storyteller at heart. I think great salespeople generally are conversationalists and great storytellers. Right. So each of my rules has lots of backdrop stories about how they came about, who influenced me to do that. And, as a student of the game, I pay attention every single day and I learn from people. And so this is just a compilation of that. And it's just kind of fun that I have something to leave, a legacy in words. It's really neat. Didn't we send you a book? Did I send you a book already? I think I did.
Did you? I have not seen it. It could be.
Okay, I'll make sure.
That's right. All right. So we'll get that going. All right. So we're going to get right back into celebrating the wins, and we go to question 2. You ready?
Yep.
It is, what win do you want to celebrate today, and why is it something that you want to celebrate?
So the way the question was asked me, is a win about social selling or social media. And I have many of them. I have them on a daily basis. But I thought I'd date back 7 years ago to show you the commitment of how long this has really been available. The reason why people haven't adopted it yet, I don't know. But 7 years ago, somebody that I worked with in a previous lifetime found me on Facebook. The last time I saw her was when she was leaving on maternity leave, and I saw her at her son's bris in Tampa. Okay. 23 years later, she found me on Facebook, contacted me and said, I cannot believe the successful company that you've built. My son, And I was going, your son? Oh my God, I remember. He just graduated with his MBA and he's about to take a job at Northwestern Mutual. Will you just talk to him? He came in to visit with me. He never left. And 7 years later, he is now the president of our company. So that is a monster win of somebody who our universes had separated. And it's one of the big takeaways from social media, that it's social. It's supposed to be fun. It brings people together, reconnects tribes, and there's always wins. The wins don't always look like financial wins,
right?
But when they, when you embrace them, which I did, I tell that story to people, the hair, on their heads rises. They go, oh my God, that's incredible. Yeah. That's the power of social media.
That is fantastic. And so one of the things that we talk a lot about is preparing for serendipity, meaning you never know when something's going to happen. You never know who you're going to sit next to on a plane. You never know who you're going to meet somewhere. But if your foundation isn't set to see who you are and what you do and the value that you offer, they may not know it.
That's exactly accurate. Exactly accurate. And that kind of interaction doesn't happen unless you open yourself up to allowing it to happen. Right. If I don't like you, the conversation's over. So we met a month ago. In the first conversation, we bonded. Now all of a sudden there's opportunity that can happen between us because we have something in common. We like each other. And that is the way the world is programmed now, which is significantly different than salespeople from long ago when it was very transactional and the IBM or whatever was on the door mattered more. So social media allows you a look inside, number one. And number two, probably equally as important, is that, believe this or not, salespeople lie. And oh my God. And this is where you can prove your credibility. So I can tell you anything I want about myself. You instantly can verify that against my social media channels and see what other people are saying. So that idea of me telling you a story that's not true is gone.
Right. Very cool. Well, in the spirit of 5 questions in 15 minutes, we're going to get on to question 3, which I'm so excited for these answers because there's things I'm hoping you say, right? But WIN, right? What did you do well that led to your celebration of this win?
So as I said, I'm a student of the game. I looked at this social media as a platform, as a broadcast platform, and understanding, having done marketing and advertising in the past, knowing the power of TV, radio, and billboards. This was a medium that I was able to use, and all I had to do was learn it. There was no fee to do it other than my time, which obviously is an investment, but the ability to tell my story and have many people see it with the click of a button was astounding to me. And so I'm really glad that my gut told me to invest the time and energy to learn it and do it. And even though it keeps changing, I'm learning and doing on a regular basis, and it's great.
So here's what I heard, and if I missed anything, or correct me if I'm wrong, you saw the power of Facebook as a social media platform. And you said 7 years, so this is in 2010, right?
Correct.
You saw the power of it by comparing it to TV and billboards. So you took something from the past, you saw the power of that, and you applied it to this thing called Facebook, and you started using it based on TV, media, billboards, and put your strategic plan in place to talk about you, tell your story, be in front of people. Whether they were friends or business colleagues, it didn't matter. You were using it to tell your story.
Dead on. I mean, understanding broadcast, and then this tool that was giving to us to broadcast our, what we want to say and who we want to say it to, I found it fascinating and still do.
That's great. Well, in the spirit of celebrating wins and what you did well, as we say in here, we exhaust what we did well. So keep going. What else did you do well in that?
I prepared what I do in a way that people can understand. And I think especially in sales, People tend to go to the category that they're in. I'm in insurance, I'm a mortgage broker. Well, that's not what you do. That happens to be the category. And so I created the actual conversation about how we do it differently, why us, all of those questions that separated me. So the content was engaging. People saw something that was, wow, that's different. I'd like to have a conversation with that. And so one of the things we train people on is figure out when someone asks you what you do, how to answer that. And it's critical in social media because that's the basis of what content you're delivering. So if you're talking to me and it's all about being an insurance broker, well, talk to me about, how you affect my life. What are you going to do to change, make my life better? That's what all the social media has done and the apps have done. So I think as salespeople, we're committed to do that. And the ones that do it, who tell their story better, are the ones that are getting attraction. Just like it, I tell them, you have certain TV shows you like to watch. You'll have certain channels you like to go on. You like certain people that you'll want to you'll be attracted to because they're offering you some content that you can digest and run with. So, I think this whole commitment to being out there and sharing, originally, why would somebody want to know that I was traveling to Chicago was foreign to me, but now I land in Chicago and here's another huge win. I mean, I land in Chicago. I had never been in Chicago. A girl I hadn't seen in 22 years pings me back and says, oh my God, this is my town, blah, 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 blah. She turns out to be a childhood friend of Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cavaliers. Uh-huh. In a week, I'm in Dan Gilbert's office discussing stuff that could, so it's like, how does that happen? It doesn't happen in any other universe, but in social media.
Yeah. And so here's what I talk about this a lot too. And Steve, thank you for telling that story because as you said earlier, a lot of executives or salespeople or enterprise, whatever, they go, Facebook, checking in somewhere, being available. Somebody pings you and goes, oh my gosh, I've been there. And it's somebody from your past. It's someone from childhood, high school, college, you met at a networking event 10 years ago, but haven't talked to in a long time face-to-face. That gives the opportunity to connect, and the consistent drip of your content is constantly telling them who you are and what you do. So all of a sudden I have a general idea what Steve does, and now I see him, he's in Chicago. Let me ping him and talk to him. And a week later, you're in the office of the owner of the Cavaliers and business happens.
It's fabulous because the way I think we were all brought up in sales was that we had a lot of know-how and you needed to know your product, you needed to know your business. Well, now it's not know-how, it's know-who.
Okay, so we talked about what you did well. I'm going to move into improve. Is there anything in that process of that win that you look back on and go, I could have done this better?
So I'm always critiquing myself on everything I do. So the short answer to that is absolutely yes. Specifically, I don't really know, and I answer it that way because social media is really like the Wild West. There's one person that's saying this methodology works, and someone else says another methodology works. I think people need to find what works for them and be comfortable with it and then grow with it. So I'm not sure if I could answer what I would do better, except I know that I want to be better. Right. And today, looking at it, I would have tried to do more video then. But I'll tell you this, Gary Vaynerchuk, who we all know and I admire, I think he's done an amazing job. His last comment on the state of it is he said, don't worry about creating, just document. And that I think has made it a lot easier for people. It was a wonderful, wonderful way to put it. So everybody can document their life, right, where you are, what you do, what your wins are, what your losses are, the more vulnerable you are. So I think my content's gotten more real than, back then. Back then it was just sort of throwing stuff up and seeing what would stick.
So one of the things you said, and because again, we're talking about improve, it was you would have used video more. So in other words, you didn't see the future as clear then, And now you're looking at it looking back on, gosh, if I would have saw how closely this was to TV, I would have done more video. Is that fair?
Yeah. So it got me in, that analogy got me in the space, but I took it at the most simple, basic level, which was just posting content. Then content turned into pictures, pictures turned into video. Now, in all fairness, the technology changed as well. It's a lot easier to produce.
Okay, here we are. We're back to the last one, which is next.
Okay.
Based on what you did well and your insight on where you would want to improve, specifically, what are you going to do next time? Like moving forward, based on things that you learned, what's one thing you want to implement moving forward?
So having a consistent content strategy as opposed to just, top of mind, throwing it out there, The book was the start of that.
Okay.
And then that will convert to ebook and, audiobook. And so, I think just keeping in mind that the internet itself is this vacuum of information. People are just sucking it up as fast as you can put it out there. That's really, that's what you need to be focused on, is quality information, without fear of, somebody paying for it. That's right. Still a paradigm shift that I think most of the people I speak to have difficult time getting their arms around, is that it's like, wow, I'm just giving that away. That's my thing. It's, these 27 rules that I give it out, or even now when I speak to people and they ask me for the presentation, I said, sure, I'll send it. I wouldn't have done that even 3 years ago.
Anything else you want to say other than plug your book?
Plug my book. It's Confessions of a Serial Salesman. It's available at nudleberg.com/author. And I always leave every conversation with, stay on the ball.
I'm not going to say anything else then. Stay on the ball. This is Steve Nudleberg. It's Brandon Lee for Celebrate the Wins and Yip Yip. Thanks for joining us. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.